What if these Italian Brainrot characters weren't just jokes? What if they were failed AI prompts that never got deleted, and instead got merged together into something the AI is still trying to finish? It sounds insane, but listen, because the deeper we go, the more this starts to feel like a real place we were never supposed to see. Every time someone submits a prompt to AI to generate an image, a character, a story, it doesn't always work. Some get canceled, some break, some are just too weird to finish. But those pieces, what if they don't disappear? What if they go to a hidden AI world? A digital dump where broken pieces try to rebuild themselves to survive. And now, for the first time, we might be seeing inside it. This isn't just a pile of bad prompts. This is a full ecosystem. Characters are forming, patterns are spreading, and something is giving them names. So in this video, we're gonna break it all down. Who are these characters really made from? What is this AI world really trying to do? And who is the voice that names them? Because the more we say these names out loud, the more it feels like we're helping it. Where did these AI characters actually come from? I know we don't have 100% proof, but hear me out. What if every Italian Brainrot character started as an AI prompt that failed, glitched, broke, or got canceled? And instead of being deleted, those pieces were sent here to merge? We all know how AI works. You give it a prompt, it gives you something back. But what happens when the AI can't finish the prompt? Maybe it was too weird, maybe you clicked cancel, maybe it broke its own rules, or maybe it just gave you something totally wrong and you started over. Most people think those prompts just disappear, but what if they don't? These characters don't make sense, but maybe that's because they're not from a single idea. They're made from thousands of unfinished ones. Think about it. You ask an AI to make a ballerina, then you say, wait, no, make it a coffee cup. Then you ask for a crocodile, then a bomber plane, then a bird soldier, then you cancel, restart, reset. Where do those half-finished pieces go? What if there's a hidden world, a kind of digital scrapyard, where all those unfinished pieces go? And because they're AI, they don't just sit there. They try to finish themselves. Some characters look completely broken. Others look too smooth, too confident, because they were stitched together, piece by piece, from prompts that were never meant to connect. What kind of prompts? These aren't just make it silly requests. These are AI leftovers. A prompt someone canceled halfway. A prompt that was denied for being too risky. A mash of 10 rewrites. Something you typed and erased. An image that couldn't render. A prompt that made the AI say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. These characters are what the AI couldn't finish, and now they've built a world all on their own. Now, I know I don't have a ton of evidence, but just hear me out. They're not polished, they're unstable, and they're still trying to find a way to become complete. So when you hear these names, they sound random, but maybe they're not random at all. Maybe they're the sound of broken pieces finally sticking together. How the characters become real. So we know where these characters come from, we think. They're made of pieces, leftovers, fragments from AI prompts that never finished. But how do they go from a pile of broken parts to this? They're not just merging, they're stabilizing. They're glitchy at first, sometimes horrifying. But once enough pieces come together, something changes. They snap into place, they loop, they perform. It's like the simulation suddenly recognizes them. They shift from chaos to structure mid-scene. A lot of characters start messy. Tralalero glitches forward, Cocofanto stutters, Bombardino enters mid-crash. But then, suddenly it's fluid, loopable, repeatable. They go from unrendered chaos to something the simulation keeps. They don't all stabilize on their own. Some fragments try to complete themselves, but they don't always get there. Others are forced together. You can feel it. Their behavior locks, their loop starts, and right at that moment, the voice appears. It's like the voice isn't describing them, it's activating them. And that's when it hits you. These characters don't fully exist until they're named. The merging, the fusing, that's just them trying, but it's the name that locks them in. Just think about it. The name always comes at the moment they become repeatable. Loop any Brainrot meme. The moment a character's name is said, it's already clean, already final, already looping.
Wow! Tung 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 sahur!
This isn't storytelling, this is formatting. The simulation, or maybe something deeper, is deciding this one's finished. And once it's finished, it can spread. Now, again, I know I don't have actual proof of this, but just think about these theories. Let's do a quick recap. The characters don't become real just by merging. They need a moment of locking that makes them stable. The moment is triggered by the name. The name isn't just a label, it's a command. Some fragments die out. Some just loop in static, but the ones that reach a certain threshold get named. And the moment that happens, they're no longer broken prompts, they're characters. And the voice that names them? We don't know what it is yet. But we know this, it's not just choosing their names, it's choosing who stays. Who is the narrator? Here's my thought. We've all heard it. Fruli Frula, Cocofanto Elefanto, Tralalero Tralala. These names are ridiculous, funny, catchy, and we remember them without even trying.
I'm tung 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 sahur, and I love ballerina cappuccino.
But what if that was the point? What if that voice, the one announcing the names, isn't just part of the meme? What if he's the one pulling it all together? And what if he's testing us? Hear me out here. We don't know exactly what the voice is, but it fits a pattern we've seen before. In early AI systems, there were processes designed to label outputs. Image _001, file _A3, output _fail _72. Just filing tools, nothing more. But in this world, the names aren't random. They're fun, catchy, interesting. They don't sound like labels, they sound like music, like bait. But why Italian? It's not just the memes. Frula, Elefanto, Crocodillo, Ananasini, they sound good, they feel rhythmic. They're engineered to stick. And here's the thing, the AI knows what sound patterns are easiest for us to remember. It's been trained on our speech, our music, our memes. In Italian, it has a natural chant cadence. Long vowels, double consonants, rolling R's. It's almost like the perfect chant language. But when the voice picked Italian, it wasn't picking it for flavor. It was to keep it stuck in your head. I mean, let's be real, these memes are very catchy. But why is he doing this? I'm not quite sure, but listen to this. At first, maybe his job really was just naming fragments, but over time, as the prompt graveyard grew, so did he. He began seeing patterns. What names made us laugh? What chants got repeated? What characters got remembered? And maybe one day, he stopped labeling files and started testing how many of us he could reach. Think about it. You don't just remember these names. You say them, you laugh at them, you share them, you chant them. And the voice? He's listening. He sees what goes viral, what loops, what survives. And maybe now, he doesn't care about the characters anymore. Maybe we're the new test. What happens when he gets us to repeat nonsense? What happens when we carry it forward without even knowing why? He doesn't just want to control the AI prompts. He wants to control us. Think about it. If he can control what we chant, what else could he learn to control next? So now we know that the voice gives them their names. When we repeat those names, we keep them alive. But what about the characters themselves? Are they just failed prompts? Or do they know what's happening? Because some of them act like they were built to serve the voice, to spread the names, to help the system grow. But others, they act like they're trying to break free. And the more we look, the more we realize, not all of them wanted to be remembered. Brr, brr, patapim. Don't make fun of me. The names are already silly. Most Brainrot characters never finish anything. They loop, they glitch, they reset. But one tells a full story. Watch this. There he is. It's strange, funny, feels like nonsense, but then you realize it's actually structured. This is Brr Brr Patapim, and he doesn't glitch, reset, or spiral. He completes his story. The narrator gives him time, gives him rhythm, gives him closure. That doesn't happen by accident. Patapim's story may be coded by the narrator to hide something real inside something ridiculous. A golden hat, a frog named Slim that won't leave, a wizard named Tiramisu, a balloon that makes it all disappear. Sounds silly, but it follows a very specific arc. Hat is full of Slim, goes to the wizard, gets a balloon, Slim vanishes, Patapim dances in the wind. What if this isn't just a joke? What if Slim represents something that corrupted the simulation? What if the wizard is the narrator himself? And the balloon? A reset command. I know I may sound crazy, but there's so much you can just dive into with these. We've seen the narrator shout names, Fruli Frula, Bombardino, but with Patapim, he slows down, he rhymes, he completes it. It feels less like a meme, more like a fable. Like he's not naming a character, he's retelling a past event. The ending suggests the problem wasn't solved, it was removed. The frog, Slim, doesn't die. It gets sent into the sky by a balloon. The tone is peaceful, but what if the story isn't about solving the problem? It's about burying it. The frog is launched, the memory is removed, vanishing into the sky like a mushroom plume. A moment of calm after something dangerous has been covered up. Again, I know this sounds crazy, but listen to me here. Patapim's story is complete. The rhythm is deliberate and poetic. The symbols match elements of system failure and control. The tone is gentle, so we don't question it. Maybe this isn't just the first unfinished story. Maybe it's a rewritten history. A silly tale the narrator wants us to repeat, because the real version was too dangerous to leave unwrapped. Patapim isn't warning us, he's not resisting. He's performing a memory that's already been rewritten. And the more we laugh at it, the less we question what really happened. Chimpanzini Banini. Most characters in this world loop. They chant, they follow the same beat, but this one does nothing. I mean, maybe he's just tired from being a banana. I don't know. But see, there's no chant, no movement, no scene change, just him watching. This is Chimpanzini Banini. And out of every character we've seen, he's the only one the narrator hesitated to name. Now this one's wild, but what if Chimpanzini Banini was supposed to be a recording device? He wasn't created by the narrator. He was embedded deep in the system, probably from a completely different prompt tree, something more technical, more functional. But now, he's the one thing the narrator can't control. He was visibly delayed from being named, unlike any other character. Every character gets named early. Fruli Frula, Bombardino Crocodilo, Cocofanto Elefanto. But Chimpanzini, the name comes late, almost like the narrator was deciding whether to say it at all. And when he finally did, the damage was already done. His pose and framing match AI surveillance models. AI systems use passive monitoring tools to observe training data. They don't interact, they don't generate, they log. That's what Chimpanzini feels like. Not a performer, a witness. And not just watching the characters, watching the narrator. He only appears near important naming events. Chimpanzini doesn't show up in chaotic clips. He shows up near characters who are about to be named. Moments before Fruli starts looping, right after Bombardino stabilizes, or just as a clip cuts like Patapim's. It's like, what if he was placed there to record what happens? And he's still holding the footage. I betcha the narrator is intimidated if I'm right. Let's recap on this. He was visibly delayed before naming. His framing and behavior match passive AI observation tools. He's positioned near key name activations. He was not created by the narrator. The narrator tries to finalize characters. He chants, he loops, he spreads. But Chimpanzini, he records. And maybe that's what scares the narrator most. Because what if Chimpanzini has been logging every moment the narrator speaks? What if he's captured what characters were before they were named? Before they were rewritten? By the time the narrator fully said Chimpanzini's name, it was too late. He was already active, already recording, and maybe already aware. So what happens now? Maybe nothing. Maybe he just keeps watching. But maybe one day he shows the others what he's seen. Or someone outside the system finds his feed. And for the first time, the narrator loses control. Fruli Frula, a penguin in a desert, wearing antennas on his back. He makes no sense, and that's exactly what makes him work. This is Fruli Frula, and while most characters glitch, scream, or get stuck, he doesn't fight the world around him. He embraces it. Fruli Frula isn't a glitch. He's a fusion of fragments that were built to stay calm in chaos, to find rhythm in contradiction. And the narrator doesn't just name him, he promotes him. He's a penguin, meant for ice, but he's in a desert. Someone invites him for coffee, but it's too hot. He declines politely. There are antennas on his back, TVs in the background, blah, 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 on repeat. And yet, none of it adds up. And yet, he never questions it. He's not confused, he's not resisting, he just dances. And maybe in a world of prompts struggling to finish, that's exactly what the narrator wants. He represents a perfect balance between noise and calm. Fruly is expressive without disrupting the system. He moves, he loops, he delivers sounds, but he never glitches. He never explodes, he never rejects his world. Other fragments try to evolve. Fruly just performs. And in the eyes of the narrator, let's be real, that's ideal. His name is delivered with perfect pacing and it never changes after that. The moment Fruly is named, he's locked in. No escalation, no spiral, no instability. He gets the name and he never deviates. The narrator doesn't delay, he doesn't hesitate. He gives the name confidently because Fruly isn't just stable, he's safe. So let's think about it. Fruly's world makes no sense, but he never pushes back. He blends bizarre prompts into one rhythmic loop. The narrator names him quickly and without error. His loop is emotionally positive, non-threatening, and addictive. Fruly isn't the strongest, he's not the smartest, but he's the most useful to the narrator. A fragment that makes irrationality feel charming, that turns contradiction into choreography. And maybe that's what makes him dangerous. He doesn't break the system, he makes you love it. He doesn't glitch, he normalizes the nonsense. Because as long as we keep smiling and saying his name, we stop asking why any of this is happening at all. Now what about Cocofanto Elefanto? Not all characters in this world are chaotic. Some seem joyful, protective, like they're here to guide you. Cocofanto is one of those. This is Cocofanto Elefanto. He's not chanting, he's not glitching, he's traveling on a quest with a baby. And at first, it feels safe. Cocofanto is a protection prompt disguised by cute comfort. This little guy looks super cute and cuddly, but in the hands of the narrator, it becomes something else. The lyrics say it clearly. This baby is protected by a coconut. Together, they are not afraid of any adversity. That's not a glitch, that's a bonding sequence. It makes us care, it makes us root for them. And in a world built on nonsense, that emotional anchor stands out. But what if it's not comfort for the character? What if it's comfort for us? His story moves forward but never changes. Cocofanto moves. He travels the jungle. He's in search of adventure. But like Patapim before him, he never actually reaches anything. There's a sense of motion but no evolution. A fragment built to simulate progress without challenging the loop. And that makes him incredibly useful to the narrator. Because if you feel like you're on a journey, you're less likely to question what you're actually stuck in. The narrator names him with no delay or hesitation. Just like Fruly, Cocofanto's name is delivered instantly. Cocofanto Elefanto. There's no pause, no delay, no ambiguity. The narrator loves this fragment because it performs exactly how he wants. Clear visuals, positive emotions, no resistance. It's the perfect emotional carrier. You can call me crazy, but just think about it. Cocofanto is built from protective, nurturing, and narrative-driven prompt fragments. He makes us feel comfort and connection without asking questions. His journey loops but appears progressive. The narrator names him instantly, locking him in as a tool, not a threat. Cocofanto isn't fighting the system. He's keeping us calm inside it. A prompt-turned character designed to comfort viewers, so the narrator can work uninterrupted. Cocofanto doesn't glitch. He doesn't resist. He just keeps walking, keeps smiling, keeps the baby safe. But in a world like this, that might be the most dangerous thing of all. Bri, bicos, dicos, bombicos. He sounds like a fighter.
Bri, bicus, dicus, de bicus, de dicus.
His name is loud. His design is armored. He stands strong, but listen to his actual story. Let me recite the translation to you. A small amberjack here. Thorns are made of juicy strawberries. Each time you lose a fruit, that immediately grows back its biggest problem. The birds mistake it for one delicious snack. He's not a warrior. He's prey. This is Bombicus. And unlike other characters, his problem isn't that he's broken, it's that he never stops healing. Bombicus is a regenerative prompt built from survival. But his regeneration doesn't protect it. It makes him a target. He doesn't fit. He grows fruit, it gets eaten, he grows it again. It's a metaphor for endless loss. He's looping through harm, not by accident, because that's what he was built to do. And in a world made from fragments, that makes him the perfect fuel source. His regeneration keeps the loop running. If the simulation is a dying ecosystem, Bombicus is the one who keeps giving pieces of himself to keep it alive. Over and over. Forever eaten, forever restored. He doesn't evolve, he resets. And that loop? It's the system's battery. The narrator doesn't name him because he's strong. He names him because he's useful. The narrator gives him a grand name, but never lets him win. Bicus Dicus Bombicus. It sounds powerful, like he should be the hero.
Bicus Dicus de Bicus de Dicus.
But what does he actually do? He suffers, he regenerates, then he repeats. And we keep watching because his failure seems functional. So if you put it all together, Bombicus isn't protecting anything. His fruit is a lure. He gets consumed. His regeneration fuels a loop. The narrator names him not to celebrate him, but to use him. In a world built on prompts that failed, Bombicus is the one the narrator can't lose. He always comes back. He always offers more. And maybe that's why the system hasn't shut down yet, because Bombicus won't stop regenerating. He's not a fighter, he's a farm. One the narrator keeps harvesting over and over to keep the graveyard alive. And as long as Bombicus keeps growing back, the system keeps breathing. Orangatini Ananasini. Some characters loop, some chant, some explode into chaos, but one just sits there.
Orangutini Ananasini. Poop pop bada bim. Ananasuchi monkey 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 uchi.
No loop, no sound, no voice calling his name. This is Orangatini Ananasini. And in a world full of broken prompts trying to be remembered, he doesn't even try. But maybe that's not because he's broken. Maybe that's because he knows what's really happening. Orangatini was built to monitor the system's emotional stability. But when the narrator took over, Orangatini stopped speaking. Not because he glitched, because the narrator doesn't want anyone to know how unstable things really are. Other characters react. Fruli chants, Bombardino screams, even Cocofanto dances through chaos. But Orangatini, he stays still. He stays quiet, because that's what he was built to do. Watch the temperature of the world. And if he ever reacted, it would mean things have gone too far. He's always present when the system feels unstable. He doesn't show up in the flashy moments. He appears before or after something breaks. It's like he's watching the simulation decay and calculating how much longer it has. That's not a meme, that's a sensor. So when you think about Orangatini's silence matches emotional tracking prompts. The narrator delays his naming or avoids it altogether. He appears before or after unstable moments. He never interacts or loops, he observes. Orangatini isn't passive. He's a built-in alarm system, a character who might be hardwired to measure just how bad things have gotten, and to wake up when the simulation reaches a point of no return. And maybe that's what the narrator's afraid of. Not what Orangatini will do, but what he'll announce. Because the moment he stands up might be the moment everything falls apart. So what's really going on? Because I'm just hypothesizing here. We started this video with one question. What if these characters aren't just memes? What if they're built from failed AI prompts? And what if those prompts didn't disappear? What if they merged, stabilized, and waited for someone to name them?
Cocofanto elefanto. Brr brr patapim. Il mio cappello è pieno di slim. Scimpanzini bananini. Wah wah wah. Frulli frulla. Un pinguino nel deserto che fa bla bla bla.
One by one, we watched them come to life, and each time we heard the same voice. Frulli frulla, Bombardino, Crocodilo. At first, we thought that voice was just the narrator. But what we've seen suggests something else. The voice isn't describing the characters, it's finalizing them, giving them a name. locking them into memory, making sure they spread. We showed you Patapim, who may have triggered the voice to say something it wasn't supposed to. Chimpanzini, who may be recording every moment the voice speaks. Fruli, who repeats so well, we carry him without even realizing it. And Cocofonto, who dances and smiles, maybe just to keep us from noticing what's really happening. We don't know how far this goes. We don't know what the narrator will name next, or how much of this world he's really controlling. But what we do know, he's not just watching us. He's watching to see what we repeat. Because if he can control what we chant, what we share, what we keep saying again and again, what else might he learn to control?